Hello, Smiths fans out there. We are back and still talking about the Smiths. And here we are talking about their second album, which is Meat is Murder. So, how does this album hold up? And what is it like compared to the first album, which was the debut titled The Smiths? If I had to describe Meat is Murder in one word, it would be minimal, or I should say minimalistic. Um, the one thing that I noticed about this, the sound of the album, the songs, the way everything is constructed, there's there's not as on the first album, on the debut album, there's a lot of energy and a lot of variation on the sound that you hear throughout the album. And so it really grabs your attention, and there's variety in the songs when it comes to the first album. I mean, even though there's not a lot of flavor, let's say, when it comes to the different selection of songs, there's still a lot of energy and a lot of different elements making those songs, different entities onto themselves. But when it comes to the songs on Meat is Murder, it seems as if the songs they're half realized, and there's not a lot of color to the attitude and the sound of the songs and also the album as a whole. That's not to say there's nothing interesting going on with the songs themselves. That's not to say that the songs are bad. There could be a little bit more life in the songs. That's all I'm saying. And and so let's talk about some of the songs on here. The first one starts off with the Headmaster's Ritual, which is one of the nice upbeat type songs, which is, if anything, supposed to be kind of joyful in the way that it mocks and points its finger at at the school system, according to Morrissey, and Rushmore's Ruffins, which is kind of rockabilly-ish. It's another happy up tempo type. Which, and I one thing I forgot to mention with the last review of with the first album is Morrissey is. I don't think people mention this though, but Morrissey has a gift for creating great melodies when it comes to his vocals. And that's one thing I've noticed after listening to all these songs and all these albums by the Smiths, was that Morrissey has just this gift to make great melodies with along with the other melodies going on in the song. And so I think he takes the time out to really make his vocal delivery stand out as much as Johnny Marr's guitars or the rhythm section. And so when you hear a song like Rushmore's Ruffins or any other kind of song, it's just, man, this guy knows just how to make his voice stand out, not just the sound of it, but just the way it's performed. And so that's one thing I forgot to mention last time when I talked about the debut album. And then you get to a song like That Joke Wasn't Funny Anymore, which has a great hook to it, and that kind of hook is that joke wasn't funny anymore. That's not exactly the right key, but it's that the hook when he mentions the title, the chorus, is what gets you into that. And it's a much more slower paced song, and you can tell that it's a very serious type of song because Morrissey is not hopping and bopping on this one here, especially with a title like that. And then you kind of get through the rest of the album, and Barbarism Begins at Home. That's kind of the band's take on funk music in a way, and there's not a lot of. It's really a song that is successful because of the music itself, not so much the words. And it's a pretty long track. I think it's probably a lot. It spends way too much time. Like, I think the song could have been cut down a little bit. and that's my opinion. And then you get to the last track on this album, which is Meat is Murder, the self-titled song from the title of this album, which is Morrissey's, shall we say, attempt, his feelings about people being carnivores and eating the flesh off of animals. It's not a very in-depth articulation of don't eat meat, but it's the first time I heard this, I was really taken by. Again, this is a great example of the Smiths when they want to be dark. It's not scary dark. It's very there's a sense of like hopelessness and dreadfulness, which I guess that can be scary too. But it's just, it's like they pick the right sounds and the right notes, and they really bring out the I guess the misery in that you would expect or want to hear in a minor key song, and it's just so. I mean, if you're in the wrong mood, I think a song like "Meat Is Murder" can probably put you in a depressing mood. But I just like I guess you would say, the darkness of that kind of song, and the lyrics that Morrissey comes up with. Do you know how animals cry? And just yeah, it's a pretty kind of dread song, and I think that's one reason why it really stands out for me, and why I like it so much. So not as colorful, I should say, as their first album. It's much more of a minimalist type of album with songs that are not fully realized. But then again, that's not to say it's not a great listen. There are some great things to be found in this album, and definitely you should check it out. And who knows, maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. So that's it for now, and we'll see you again. And next time we are going to talk about their third album. And when I say third album, I mean the Smiths' third album, which is, and that is The Queen is Dead.